Okay, so in this question, it's asking us to estimate what 32% of 180 is. I'm going to go ahead and work it out, and then we're going to go back and estimate. So when we're finding percentages, remember you have is over of equals, this is very important, the percent over 100, okay? Well, it tells us the percent, so it gives us the 32 over 100, okay, equal of 180, so that is our of is 180. And what we don't know is what this is. What is 32% of 180? So what we'll do is we'll just cross multiply, okay? This equal sign means you can cross multiply, okay? So we have 100x on this side. Remember, we go down. And 32 times 180, we come here. 32 times, remember it's the star, 180 equals 5760. So we come over here. 5,760. Now I just divide by 100, and I get, and if you can't do that here, you get divide by 100, 57.6. Now, so that's 57.6. So that's our exact answer, okay? But it wants me to estimate. So I'm going to start that over again. Estimate, this is about 30%, about 30%. So when I estimate, I can do 10% very easily. All I have to do is take 180, okay? And here's my decimal point, 180. That's 100% is 180. If I move over one decimal place, that is 10%. 18 is 10% because 18 times 10 equals 180, okay? So 10% is 18. So if I want 30%, I have 18 times 3, 30% times 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So 54, which is very close to what we had before. Estimate 54, okay? Estimate 52%. I've already shown you how to do it. You would normally set it up, if you're going to just solve it, you would do 52%, 52 over 100 of 233, and you put your x up here. But we're just going to find, so 52% is about half, okay? It's about half. So we would just take this number and divide it by 2. So we just take our 233, clear, 233, and divide it by 2. And we would get about 116. We would round that to 117. That would be our answer, 117, about half. So let's say 117. Skate World charges 7% tax. About how much will you spend in total if you purchase a skateboard for this amount, okay? How much is, so this is how much the skateboard costs. And I have to, what do I always do on my receipts? I have to add tax. So what I'm going to do is I have to figure out what 7% of this is and then add it back. So, what is 7% of $60.84? Okay, so I do exactly the same thing. So instead of putting is here, I'm going to put an x, because that's what I don't know. X times 100 is 100x. 7 times 60.84 will come here. 60.84, make sure I get it right, times 7. 425.88 equals 425.88. Now, this is not my answer because I don't know what x is yet. So I have to divide by 100, divide by 100. So I just move my decimal place over 2 spaces, 1, 2. That equals 4.2588 equals x. I don't need all of these spaces, but I just kept them. So if I was going to round that, it would be $4.26 because I would round it here. So it'd be $4.26. This is not my answer. It wants to know the total amount that I'm going to spend. So I have to add the tax. So I'm going to do that. So it was $60.84 plus another $4.26, 0.26. Make sure your decimal place is in the right spot. $65.10. So 65.1, which you need a zero because it's money. $65.10. And that's how much that costs. So you could round that to $65, but $65.10 is the most accurate. Fred hikes 4 3/2 miles on Sunday and 5 9/10 miles on Monday. About how many miles did he hike in total? About how many means you get to estimate, okay? So 5 9/10. 9/10 is very close to one whole. It's 1/10 away from one whole. If you made that a decimal, you would see that 9 divided by 10 equals 0.9. It's very close to a whole. So I'm just going to round this up to 6. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to round that number up to 6 miles. And on Sunday, 4 3/8 miles. Well, that's not as easy to do, so I'm going to change that to a decimal again. 3 divided by 8, turn it to a decimal. 0.375. So that's not really close to a whole. So I'm going to round down to 4. So that's about 4 miles. So 6 plus 4 is 10 miles. So about 10 miles is the answer. If you wanted to round that to a half, you could say it was 10.5 miles. You want to place a picture that is 28 1/2 inches wide in the center of a wall that is 61 inches long. About how many inches will the edge of the picture be from the wall? Okay. So you basically need to think about it like this. I automatically drew a picture because that's the best way to do it. And you want to put this picture in the center of the wall. Okay. So it's 28.5 inches. And this whole thing is 61 inches. So you want to figure out how much space is on each side of your picture. So what you could do is you could push this all the way over to the edge here and see how much you have left over. So I'm going to take my picture and I'm just going to put it right up against the wall. I know we wouldn't do that in real life, but now we have all this extra space. Okay. Well, let's see how much extra space we have. Well, I had 61 feet and I subtracted the size of my picture, which is 28.5. So this is the space I have left over. Well, if I want to make sure that's smack in the middle, what I have to do is I have to cut that in half. So let's divide by 2. 16.25 inches on each side. So basically what I did was 61 minus 28.5. And I got, let's do that again, 32.5. Okay. And then I divided that by 2. And I got 16.25.